There is something I have noticed happens over time when you're parenting a young adult who's struggling with mental health challenges, addiction, or both. At first, almost all of your attention is outward. You're watching closely, scanning for signs, trying to figure out whether today is better or worse than yesterday. That makes complete sense. When illness is part of the picture, the situation can feel unpredictable, even fragile. Of course you're on alert and hypersensitive, but for some parents, something quieter begins to shift. You may not feel more certain about what's coming next. The situation itself may still feel complex, and yet you start trusting yourself more as time goes on. And that's something that we don't talk about enough. When a young adult is dealing with mental health symptoms or substance use, progress is rarely linear. It's more like this, right? There can be good stretches followed by difficult ones, insight followed by setbacks, moments of connection followed by distance. If a parent's sense of stability depends entirely on those fluctuations, their nervous system never settles, and neither will your young adults. So one of the most meaningful changes that can happen doesn't happen in the situation at all. It happens internally to you. You begin to notice how quickly you can ground yourself when fear rises, whether you can stay present without immediately jumping into problem solving, how much you trust your own judgment in the moment. These aren't things you can measure easily. They don't show up on charts or timelines, but they are essential to your growth. Earlier on this journey, reflection often sounds like, is this getting better? Did I handle that right? Where do I find the right help for them? What should I do next? Those questions aren't wrong, but over time, reflection can mature. It stops being an evaluation of the situation and becomes an awareness of your internal signals. You may start noticing, I can sit with uncertainty longer than I used to. I don't feel the same urgency to fix or tell them what they should do. I can stay compassionate without compensating for them. I know when to step in and when to step back. And that is not detachment. It is discernment. And discernment is important when the road isn't straightforward. This is where December's themes start to braid together. This is what integration looks like when I no longer take a lot of effort to recover, to stay calm. I'm not forcing the calmness. I'm not reminding myself what to do. You may be finding this as well, but you're noticing that your body settles more quickly, that your judgment is clearer, that you feel less overwhelmed on fewer days, that you respond instead of react more often than you used to. Integration is trusting those internal signals even when the external situation is still complex. This is also where reflection changes tone. Reflection stops asking, why is this still hard? And begins asking you, how am I meeting hard moments right now? Not to minimize the reality of illness, not to deny how serious things can be, but to tell the truth about your own growth without punishing you. That kind of reflection builds confidence quietly. And this is where hope shifts locations. Hope doesn't come from predicting what your young adult will do next. For many parents, that kind of hope can feel hard to rely on. Instead, hope begins to live somewhere else, in your ability to stay present without losing yourself, in your capacity to tolerate uncertainty, in your growing trust that you can respond more thoughtfully even when things change again. That doesn't erase the reality of mental illness or addiction. It doesn't pretend the journey is easy. It simply acknowledges this truth. You are learning to stay steady in a landscape that isn't predictable. So if you're listening and thinking, I still don't know what's coming next, you are not alone. You are not failing. You may be developing something just as important as certainty, an internal compass, a felt sense of when to act and when to wait, a deeper trust in your own capacity to navigate complexity. That's not the end of the journey, but it is evidence that the work that you've been doing is integrating. The reflection is becoming more accurate, and the hope is becoming more durable. Not because everything is better, but because you are more grounded inside what is. And on a long changing road, that matters.